time is it?
5:30, sir.
No, it's not. It's Brofessionals time. Welcome, everybody. I'm your host this week. I'm Graham Nolan, and we have all the bros here. Art T. Bear, Aaron Lepresti, Billy, Preston, the fifth Beatle. I mean,
yes,
Billy
thank you.
Tucci,
Fifth Beatle.
and Andy Smith. Good evening, gents. How are you guys tonight?
Good,
Oh,
good.
fantastic.
Looking forward to the show.
Well,
Very
very
excited
excited about today's topic. I'll tell you that.
We're going to have some fun tonight.
We're and there it is.
I'm looking forward to
gonna...
Billy's take on cosmic comics. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
You guys, somebody needs to tell them that Nagel does not count as a cosmic artist.
The Rocketeer doesn't either.
And
Yeah,
then,
maybe it should have been cosmic fabrics. You know,
Oh,
yeah.
like
fabrics that
rayon,
they
my
use in
favorite
space. You know, that
Rayon.
kind of thing.
But it is a space age fabric, you know.
We're experimenting with some new formats and stuff, and we're going to be making some changes and getting some new bumpers and all that kind of stuff. So bear with us on that. But one of the things we're going to do is this day in comics history. And today is in 19 what was the year, Andy? I can't remember now.
76.
Yeah, I think it was 76.
It was in the 70s, later 70s.
49 years ago.
Yeah,
Today?
but it was this date, March 25th, that Gamora first appeared.
Oh, my favorite.
And she appeared in this comic right here, Strange Tales 180, featuring Adam Warlock.
You guys might be shocked to hear this, but I actually have like a 9.4 copy of this.
It's slabbed, isn't it?
No, it isn't. It
Oh.
isn't.
So you're
wait. So you're just saying a 9.4.
It could be a 9.6. It's very clean.
Could be an 8.2.
Nah, probably not.
All right.
Very clean.
Could be a 2.5.
Come over and read it in my thing chair.
No. If I ever read any comics in your chair, it's going to be your Hulk #1 and your FF #1.
Nah, you wouldn't treat it properly.
Roll it up and throw it in your pocket.
With disdain.
Here's our buddy Dan Frager with a $4.99 super chat. Big love and respect to my bros. 1988 Cosmic Odyssey by Starlin, Mignola, and Olaf is my personal fave.
That would have been mine too. That would have been
a good one.
Yeah.
Well, that was going to be my pick, so thanks a lot, Danny boy.
I always get those. I always get that confused with Cosmic Odyssey and the Wolverine Jungle Adventure. I always get those two confused, which I should.
How in the hell do you get those two confused? One was 4 issues. The other was 1.
No. Oh, well, yeah, but
both
they were
drawn by Mike Mignola.
They're both drawn by Mignola, and they were prestige. You know.
Yeah, and
So
one's in space, another's in a jungle. Yeah, I can see it.
South X5 for $2. Thank you. He says hello, and Leg1 says hello, bros. Have you seen the Rocketeer action figure? It looks phenomenal.
No,
I haven't
didn't
either.
know they were doing one.
Is that
Billy, how can
new?
you not know about this?
I don't know. I've been busy.
Yeah.
I don't
got
think Aaron's
sent to me by Sarah Ann Frazetta. I got the Vampirella.
Name
Oh,
drop.
did you really?
Yeah,
Name
sure.
dropper.
That's a
show
good
that.
one. Who? Oh,
Billy's constantly name dropping. Do you ever notice that?
he is.
We
It's
gotta
never
have
our
we gotta
name.
have Sarah Ann on. We have to definitely have her on the Frazetta girls.
Ooh.
Awesome
Oh, well.
packaging,
Yeah.
right?
Nice.
Oh, there it is. Oh,
But let's
wrong way.
see the statue.
Yeah, well, let's see the box first. Let's look at the
Box, schmucks.
box. You got a
Look at the hips on
graveyard.
her. Look at the
Right?
hips.
Look at the hips, childbearing hips. Look at this. You got a monster mask. You got a skull face. You got her all like bitchy, and then you got her like open, blood all over her.
Bitchy.
What are those one hands
her
for?
lust for life. This is a gorgeous action with Frank's cover.
Is
So
bitchy the
on
technical
back, you do
term
a
for that?
Vampirella cover. Get Frazetta to do it after I got a she cover from him. Thanks. But here we go. Very
Boom,
nice,
baby.
right?
No.
Very, very nice.
Wow.
Right. And here it is. Now here it is. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Look at all the pieces.
That's cool.
Yeah, that thing's like what, $70 or something, I think.
I don't know.
They're
How
doing
does
a figure based on who's the female character in Fire and Ice?
Tula, something like that. Tula.
I think.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a figure based on her with the a panther or something that looks fantastic.
Yeah, this is a great. It's heavy. Box is heavy.
See, look at. I don't want chick action figures. I'm sorry. I want the Dark Wolf action figure.
They made
would
one,
have-
didn't they?
I don't know.
I want a she action figure from Frazetta Girls. How cool
There
is
you
that?
go.
I'd
So
say
are they
had
producing your own figure line now? Is that it?
Yes, they are. As a matter of fact, they are.
How do they
Very
determine which Frazetta gets to do what?
They all okay. So when after Frank and Ellie passed away, they all lined up a bunch of paintings, and each child, I don't know how the direction was, picked one piece of art, all in order.
Took
Maybe
turns.
from Frank Jr. is the oldest, I think, all the way down to Holly, and they would just, okay, I want that one, I get this one, I get this one, I get that one. So that's the way.
That must have been some type of haggling situation.
Oh my God, can you imagine? It just,
Yeah, can you imagine?
And that's
Well,
how
you
it's
never
gonna
know.
be
They might
with
all
Aaron
have
when you
different
die.
tastes.
When Aaron dies, that's how it's going to be with all your slab comics. And it's
That's right. I'm gonna come in there. I'm
But
gonna.
they're going to be like,
I'm
I
gonna
don't want that
with
one.
a
You
with a screwdriver and just crack
Start
that
popping
open.
them all open.
That
Oh, come on,
9/8's
you
gonna be a
guys know we talk.
7.5 in no time.
We're going to go to that shooting range in Vegas. Graham was at. Line them up and take a 50 cal to them.
Oh yeah.
Oh. You wouldn't
No.
do that to my Wiz Comics 22, would you?
We'll take a
Well,
whiz
I own
on
a
it.
copy, so no.
Take a Wiz on it.
It'll be yellow by the time we're done with it.
You guys call yourself comic book people. That's just terrible.
Hey, I never said that.
Okay.
That's true.
That's right. Billy never claimed to be a comic book
So
guy.
I'm going to piss all over your comics.
Yeah, not a comic fan, but he knows an awful lot about some of this, like noodly
Deep lore.
comic book
I'm
shit.
a quick study. I'm a quick study.
Yeah, I'll bet you are.
That's what we hear.
Let's get one for $5 more. Long Box Heroes is
Oh.
the name of the set Rocketeer is in.
Ooh, let's find that link and
Long
share it.
Box Heroes.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
What scale is it?
I only have
Graham.
short boxes though.
Graham, for the future of the show, I have the best, the top 12 Marvel cosmic stories of all time. So we can share that later as we
Yeah,
go.
we'll talk about that. Yeah.
You know, I can put that in a private chat if you want to control it.
I think you
Sure.
should share that with everybody too, though.
He is.
Well, we will.
Well,
Yeah,
Billy
well-
wants him to share it before the show starts, so he'll have some
So
reference.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go to that
Look
list,
at
see if I read any of
Box.
these.
So here's the cool thing is that Long Box Heroes just did the new Rocketeer toy. Short Bus Retards will be doing the Brofessionals.
Oh,
The Short Bus Collectibles.
Oh boy!
Are you allowed to
Wow.
say that
Short
word?
Bus Heroes. How's
Wow.
that? Short Bus
All
Heroes.
right, all right. Hypothetical,
Holy
you
crap.
guys. If the Short
Disavow.
Yeah, if the
Disavow.
Short Bus collectible guys came to you and said they wanted to make action figures based on your IP, would you do it?
Short Bus Heroes.
you mean long box? Because there is no
Or
short.
Short Bus.
No, the Short Bus. We're just making
Short
And it's
Bus
gonna
Heroes.
be like $1,000 down payment.
If anybody would give me any amount of money to do action figures, I'd let them do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to have one.
True.
And then we would all pay.
Wait, Aaron. What if they said they want to take Esther and do an action figure of her in like lingerie? Would you be
Yeah.
good with that?
With a big old hump on her back.
You gotta ruin everything for me, Andy.
Well, I mean, you
It
give
is-
up the license, they can do what they want.
Well,
is
as long as
called
they
the
didn't
short-
tell me they were doing it, then
It's
you know.
called the Short Bus, Aaron.
Yeah,
Now
So-
you know, underneath that girdle and underneath all that stuff, that there is a tramp stamp on the back.
Oh
there.
gosh.
You just know they had tattoos back then.
They
You
did.
know,
No, dude.
some of those women, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know she doesn't have them on her ankles.
Yeah.
Graham, you are way off base. Underneath that girdle, when she undoes that, she balloons out like Whoopi Goldberg. That's what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
And I gotta yeah, that Esther, and she looks just as good as her friend Blanche and Madge.
Oh, damn.
Hey, and as far as Whoopi Goldberg goes, she's lost a lot of weight. So
Yeah. so
You
there
are
you go.
get
Yeah,
out of
but
here.
it was all brain matter.
Yeah,
I know. And she didn't have that much to begin with.
Yeah.
That would be so awesome to see Esther as a golden girl.
Well, guys,
Esther
I mean,
on
we're doing,
Bane.
as I mentioned on the format thing, we're doing a this day in comic book history, and sometimes that's going to trigger, and in this case, it triggered what our topic is going to be today, because Gamora, of course, is part of that Starlin cosmic universe for Guardians of the Galaxy and all of that. So it got me to thinking, well, what's the first cosmic superhero or cosmic story arc? And I guess it depends on how we define that. I mean, I suppose technically you could say Superman was the first cosmic story because he came from this planet of super evolved people, the Kryptonians, and they blew up and there's a rocket ship. But what's the difference between, say, a cosmic story and a science fiction story? Is there a difference?
Oh,
yes.
I mean,
Well,
I think
in comic book terminology, there is, because it has to do with scope.
right.
And I mean, it got to a point where I'll reference something that I did at DC Metamorpho miniseries, where I had written Metamorpho. It was almost a crime story where he was like, he turned into Metamorpho and he was like, became an enforcer for the mob and things like that. And then became a good guy. And I showed this to Dan DiDio and he said, "Oh, I need something bigger. I need something more cosmic."
Oh,
And
boy.
so then it became this interdimensional it became something totally different to try and meet that need. But I think that when you say cosmic storyline, I think it not only talks about space, but it talks about scope.
Fit that is the Fantastic Four. That is cosmic. The scale of that, those guys go everywhere.
Well, yeah, and their villains are all, well, most of their rogues gallery, most of the popular ones. I'm narrowing it down.
Well, I was wondering if FF 48, 49, and 50, the first appearance of Silver Surfer and Galactus, is that our first genuinely cosmic storyline, or was there something before that? I mean, I know you mentioned Superman.
There's one here in this article that I have, and it says it's the Galactus trilogy from 1961, 48 through 50.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, it's not 61. It was 66.
yeah.
It's
Right,
says
but they're just
61
saying
here.
that
No, the series started in 61.
FF1 started in 61. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So the Silver Surfer and Galactus.
Yeah.
But you could make an argument for Thor. You could make an argument for Thor, right? I mean, is Asgard considered galactic,
No,
or is that something different?
I've never
mythology.
considered Thor cosmic. That's more mythic.
It's in here. It says
know?
it's Thor versus Ego, the Living Planet.
Yeah, but Ego, the living planet, is cosmic.
Ego.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but Thor was cosmic also because of those storylines. We get Galactus's origin from the Mighty Thor,
Right, which I have in near mint condition, by the way.
Wait a second.
Thank
Hold
you.
on.
Thank you, Aaron.
We get Galactus's origin was from a Thor comic.
Yeah,
It's in a Thor
I
comic.
didn't know that. Was it when it was Journey into? It had to be when it was Thor, not Journey into
It was
Mystery.
Thor.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head the number, but I think it was 162, 161.
Yeah, I was
somewhere in
gonna
there.
say
Galactus
160s.
go after Asgard to try to swallow Asgard.
Yeah, what was that all
I
about?
didn't read it.
It's in near mint. I didn't read it. Are you
I
kidding
don't
me?
remember.
Oh my
I
god!
don't remember whether he was coming back to Earth or he was coming for Asgard. I hope he's coming for Asgard because that would be really cool.
All right, now I gotta look it up. What issue number was it?
I think
162.
Yeah, 160, 161.
It was a few
162, right
issues. There was 2 or 3 issues in this storyline.
Yeah, because
Which book? Which book?
Thor.
Mighty Thor.
Which one though?
162 around there.
Okay.
Well, because I think Galactus starts by fighting Ego, the living planet, and then it becomes it's like a 3-part
The
thing.
Ego storyline is 131 through
Yeah.
133.
Okay, it's
Yeah,
after
so-
that. It's
earlier.
after that.
Is that Thor versus
162.
Ego
The
Living
title of
Planet?
162 is Galactus: A Borning.
This
That's
is-
what it says on the cover underneath Thor. Is
Yeah.
Galactus a Borning? And it has Galactus obviously on it and stuff.
See, that was a typo. Artie Semick spelled that wrong. It was actually Galactus is boring.
Right.
Was the original title.
Sure.
You know
is
what's
that-
weird?
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
No, I just had to ask. So in that story, Thor is fighting Ego, the living planet, or this living planet's fighting Galactus, fighting for its very survival against Galactus?
Galactus isn't in the first storyline, so that's later. So the initial is just Thor and Ego.
Yeah,
So then
that's
it's
the
Thor,
first
like,
appearance of Ego is in Thor 131, 132, something like that.
and then Galactus comes for Ego, and does Ego become
Later on in the
guy?
story, issues a couple of years later.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wonder why they give credit to 49 of Fantastic Four with Galactus and Silver Surfer on the cover. If that isn't the first appearance of,
It's not.
Galactus.
48 is their first appearance.
Yeah.
All right. These are I think it's this one has the origin of Thor in it.
That's
What
the
number
first.
is that?
That's the first
169.
non-Kirby
168 and 169.
Yeah.
Actually have this is the Galactus origin stories in these two.
What years are those?
Crack
15
it open,
centers.
Aaron.
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I'm looking at it. It says it's 162.
Yeah, Aaron, open them
The
up.
title of the story is Galactus is Born. So, I mean, maybe they, I don't know.
It's time to brawl because these I know that his origin is in
Yeah, there's only one way to find out is you got to open them up.
It's got to
Yeah.
open them.
And what year is that, Aaron? Do you know what year that is? Your book?
67, 68.
well, if they're 15 centers, so it'd have to be 1969 or 70.
Oh my God!
It's
Just
probably
imagine, man,
60, end of 69, because by the 170s, that's when Bill Everett started inking it. That one that you have right there is the first non-Kirby cover.
Right, it was Romita,
That's
I
the
think.
Romita cover.
Yep.
So at that point, Kirby was already getting ready to leave.
But what a
Yep,
time,
that's
right?
Heading over to
You had-
DC.
Yeah.
It was, so 162 was cover date March 1969. Release date January 1969.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
you guys weren't buying comics in 1969, right? Your parents.
I
were
wasn't
buying-
even born yet.
No, I wasn't. That's too early for me.
But
Not-
that
I
time, right?
wasn't buying them, but I had comics around me. I don't know how I got them. Like I had Cap 114. That's the first Cap comic I ever had, the Romita one. Still one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got ripped off. I've mentioned this before, but like local comic shops or just five and dimes, supermarkets, liquor
Right.
stores. They
Luncheonettes.
didn't carry Marvels. They didn't care. So all we got was like
No.
Harvey Toons, Archie, and the DC stuff. So I got ripped off. My
Wow.
friend had a lot of the monster comics, the Marvel monster comics, but he didn't even have the superhero stuff. And I don't know where he got those.
Huh.
Yeah.
Just
All
what
right.
a time, right? In life, like you had all those great comics, right? With those stories coming out, you had famous Monsters of Filmland magazine, those
Oh, yeah.
Aurora models, Mark's Army Men, right?
Yeah.
You
Well,
could
the
buy
thing is, I
comics
still
every
have all
day.
those comic books, Billy. I still have all those comic books from when I was a kid. Those Batman books and stuff my mom got me. So I would have had all those Marvel books firsthand because they all came out around that time. I mean, I wouldn't have had it would have been like 66, 67 is when I would have started getting them. But who knows the way, like you get stuff when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Sometimes things predate you, it's like a few years earlier or
Oh, yeah.
whatever. And you
Yeah,
inherit somebody's collection or whatever.
The earliest comics I had as a kid were 1968. There was I had a Lois Lane with a Neil Adams cover where Superman. It was always a dick on these covers. They're in space and there's a space capsule and Lois is outside doing an EVA, and Superman's got her line and he's snapping it like that, and Lois is like, "What are you doing, Superman?" And he's like, "You're never gonna marry that astronaut," something like that.
If I can't have you, nobody
he's
can.
snapping her lifeline,
Right,
He's like,
right.
what a dick! What a super dick!
Hey, I got a question regarding the cosmic classification. Does Doctor Strange meets Eternity 1951 138? Does that qualify as a cosmic story?
Well,
those
with
dates that you're giving
Eternity,
is
it
the name
does.
is the date of the first publication of that particular magazine, Strange Tales. But
Right.
that would have been 1964, probably.
Well, this says 1951, issue 138.
Doctor
and it-
Strange didn't come out till 1962.
That's weird. So this thing must be.
Well, no,
way-
it's
That's
Art,
the
that's
Oh no, it's just Strange Tales. I got it. I
right.
got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's a Master of the Mystic Arts. That's him. And the Secrets of Eternity.
yeah.
So Eternity, I guess, is what classifies it as a cosmic story. Is that right?
I
Yeah.
think it's cosmic. You know, when he goes and fights Dormammu in another dimension. I mean, dimensions are cosmic. You know?
Okay.
I think certainly that, you know, again, that goes back to what Aaron is saying. You know, it doesn't have to be space; it could be time, but it's also scope. You know, the scope of a story. What's at play? Is it, you know, Dormammu trying to steal a purse, or is it Dormammu, you know, trying to, you know, envelop our entire universe? You know.
So time travel wouldn't necessarily classify like Back to the Future. But if it was cosmic, if it was more bigger scope, like it was the universe or whatever, then it could possibly be a cosmic storyline.
Sure. Well,
Okay.
like
how
in
quick-
Avengers Endgame, you know, they
Yeah.
go back in time to get the stones, you know, to prevent the end of the cosmos, basically,
Right.
you know, type of thing.
So
Yeah.
that's cosmic on scale.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially with
Isn't
Thanos.
it
involved, yeah.
interesting how quickly Marvel, and I can't say for DC because I didn't really pay attention to what they were doing in the 60s that much, but Marvel, how quickly they went to these cosmic storylines so that more was at stake, so that the heroes had a greater challenge than, like you said, it's just not Dormammu stealing a purse. It's suddenly, you know, the whole planet can be destroyed, or maybe the whole universe is at stake, you know, with people like the Beyonder and these different characters. You had Spider-Man, who stayed at home pretty much, although he got pulled into Starlin's storyline where the death of Thanos storyline, where he was pulled out into space. But for the most part, you had like Spider-Man or Daredevil. These guys were New York City. They were on
New
Earth,
York, yeah, they
that
were
kind of
grounded.
thing. But the Avengers, Fantastic Four, Thor, a lot of these guys got in these huge cosmic problems because it wasn't like, let's put something more at stake than just Aunt May's life.
Yeah,
Let's go bigger. And they just kept getting bigger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but Spidey got cosmic in annual #1 when he met Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, well, you're talking like
Well, also he got the cosmic black suit, right, in Secret Wars.
Sure, Secret
well,
Wars.
Secret
Yeah.
War, the whole Secret
Secret
Wars
Wars
thing
was
was a
cosmic
cosmic
for sure.
storyline, right?
Right. How about the Scree Kroll or the Kroll Scree battle?
Wall War.
Yeah,
Oh, big time.
Creed
Avengers.
Scroll Wars.
Yeah.
Where does that fall? Where's that fall on that list of 12? Because I assume it's on that.
Here,
list.
let me. It's in the
It's
private
up
chat,
there.
right?
Yeah, it's in the private chat. It says 89.97, and it says Drax the Destroyer. So did Drax appear first time in that book?
No, he showed up in Iron
No.
Man 55.
Okay.
Yeah, he was introduced the same issue as Thanos, right? That
Yes.
Iron Man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. So
And
this is
Thanos
just
was kind of
Marvel
scrawny.
cosmic stories. Okay.
Yeah, it's just Marvel, so we can get into DC stuff maybe separate.
All
That's
right.
a
So we
great
got the
cover.
Galactus trilogy.
We went
Mhm.
over
Thor
that.
versus Ego.
Yeah.
FF versus Annihilus. Okay.
That was in
Oh.
that annual, right? It was in Annihilus's first, that annual. Yeah. Annihilus's
Annual
first
number
appearance
6.
was in that FF annual. I think it was number 5,
#6.
6.
Yep.
Oh, it says so right there. Duh.
Apparently, Aaron doesn't own it because he didn't know the number.
I don't own it.
I do,
Oh,
but it's
that's
not near
funny.
your
I have
position.
that.
Oh yeah. Not in near mint condition, I'll bet though.
No.
But it sits right in the same box as my FF1.
Yeah, well, that's respect, I guess. for
And
it.
it's right next to the toilet. So
That's true. That's true. All right, so we get the screen. Oh, there's Drax the Destroyer. It's
Yeah.
done by Jim Starlin.
Yeah, it was Iron Man 55.
Yep.
Yeah.
So are those connected? The Thanos War, Iron Man 55, Captain Marvel 25 through 33.
yeah, they are. They've put
Yeah,
them
they
together in a trade paperback and stuff. Yeah.
That's a pretty cool thing considering this is 1968. Or no, it's not 1968. That's when the books came out. It's probably 72.
72,
It
73.
was 72 because I had the box cover. The box.
Yeah.
Those are all 1972. Yeah, my first experience to like any sort of cosmic storyline was Starlin's work on Warlock and Captain Marvel.
Same.
And I just remember reading those books as a kid, going, "I have no freaking idea what's going on." But I thought,
yeah, I just kept thinking like this is a ripoff. He hits his bands together, and like it just seemed like it was a derivative of all these other characters. Like
What?
Well, it was derivative of the original Captain Marvel. You know,
Yeah,
instead
very
of a
much
magic
so.
word, you know, he would switch places with Rick
Rick Jones.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
going to say
Rick
Rick James.
Yeah, but I mean, I see what you're
You might
saying.
want to switch places with Rick James in the 70s.
I see what you're saying with it being a derivative, except, I mean, Billy Batson would say Shazam, he would turn into the guy. Billy didn't go someplace else. Rick Jones went to the negative zone.
Yes, he did. The original Shazam, they were two separate people.
Yeah, but where'd Billy go when he said Shazam?
He went for a timeout in the corner.
I think he went to Cleveland, right?
Well, that's the thing. You know, the original Captain Marvel was very much Tales of Whimsy. So it wasn't all about, you know, the science of where does he go. Sometimes they would argue with each other across the dimensions. You know, this is one story which I love. It was in Wiz Comics, and Captain Marvel falls in love with this swing shift worker who's working the midnight shift building aircraft for World War II. And he falls in love with her, and he's going out all night long trying to woo her, right? So he gets done in the morning. He's exhausted. He says, Shazam. Now Billy's there, and he's exhausted. He goes, that Cap, he's out catting around all night, and I got to go to work at Station Wiz or whatever, you know. And so eventually they have it out. And so it's like, I can't take this anymore, Cap. You have got to get your dick under control. Shazam! And then he turns into Captain Marvel. Well, Billy, you understand that I'm not.
Now you want to know what's this is.
I often have those same conversations, by the way.
Well, no, there's a TV show on Apple TV called Severance, right?
Yeah,
and
I've seen the first 2 episodes.
Okay, so it's a great show, but basically the main character has a conversation with himself, but the way he has to do it is he records himself, and then when because there's the innie and the outie. The innie's the one that goes to work all day, and then when he goes home at night, something changes, and he's the outie, and he has no memories of what the other one did during the day at work, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah, it sounds like a typical Saturday night for me. Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
But he has a conversation with himself by recording himself, and then the other one watches it, and they start getting pissed off, and the recordings get more angry and stuff. It's good. But I didn't know that about the original Captain Marvel and Billy Batson and stuff. So
Yeah, they were two separate people. It wasn't until I think Roy Thomas made him, you know, a kid in a big body, basically Big, you know, the Tom Hanks movie,
right.
Which I never liked. I never liked that version. I like the whimsical version where the two of them can exist as two separate things, you know.
Well, also if the adult is kid-like, I think bringing him into the DC universe becomes problematic. Because it's they're dealing with the child, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, he might be as strong as Superman, but you're dealing with the child. So I never thought it quite worked, you know. In the
they kind of did the same thing with Firestorm, didn't they? Where they but they had two guys in the same brain, but they were
they could talk to each other in real time with each other. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, there's Thanos.
But Elders of the Universe versus Galactus from that's
1980s.
Start of the book. Yeah, 1980s. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't remember
Ron Lim. That was when.
That's Ron Lim there.
Yep.
Again, Thanos Returns and Thanos Quest.
Ooh,
here we go, Aaron.
Oh boy! All right, Aaron, take it down a notch. Your head's getting bigger. I can see it from here.
Well, Planet Hulk is a heck of a story arc. You got our storyline. You got to admit, and that was a cosmic story for the Hulk.
It was. Yeah.
There, you know, I always thought that this was the perfect environment for the Hulk, and I know they had to bring him back into the MCU at some point, but the Hulk on an alien planet where he's a barbarian in the gladiator king, it's perfect for that character.
Yeah. It even worked on.
They did that initial What If in the 80s, didn't they?
the Thor movie. I think it was when they're in the Gladiator.
Yeah,
state.
they took some of Planet Hulk for that, and gave me
Yeah,
no
yeah.
That's part of that movie. Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you get anything for that, Aaron? Did they send you anything?
Well, I complained and they sent me something, but because I didn't get any, like, they were giving credit to like Jimmy Chung and different people like that. And I'm like, I worked on the book. Could you not at least put my name in the credits?
Right.
No.
And so I complained and they said, yeah, you're right. We should have done that. And so they sent me a check, for the obligatory $5,000 check that they give everybody that gets pissed off.
But you didn't get the red carpet trip though.
No.
Yeah, that's
I was just looking at the trade paperback of Planet Hulk just the other day. It was up in my daughter's room and I happened to across it. I'm like, oh, I think Aaron did this. And I start looking through it. Dude, you should be a bigger star.
Yeah, you killed it.
Your work is really amazing. And it doesn't even look like the stuff you're doing now.
Well, are you sure you're looking at the right stuff? Because I'm not the only one who worked on that.
Oh, I know. I
Carlo
looked at the credits, to see. And I could spot your style and everything.
Yeah.
But you drew the shit out of that. It's I remember just thinking that, God damn, Aaron should have been a huge star over at Marvel. It was really, really great stuff.
Wow, thank you, Graham. That's very nice of you to say that. I appreciate that.
It's true. Yeah. It was really good. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
But Aaron, if you were a butterfly flaps its wings, that's all it takes. If you became a huge star back then, you wouldn't be here right now with us, probably.
Yeah, you wouldn't be
You'd be enjoying riches beyond your wildest dreams.
Now look at Art. Art was a superstar, and he's with us, so
Yeah, I'm slumming it with you punks.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be here.
Yeah,
he's told us so.
Yeah. I tell you every show, he's like, I don't know why I come back for this. And we're like, I'm just glad you say that when we're not
7 o'clock show shows up at 7:10.
It's my thing, fashionably late.
That's right.
That's it. All right. So let's see what else we got here. Omniversal.
I never heard of that.
An Ultimate.
Ultimates. Okay.
That's within the past decade.
Okay.
So.
Wait. I need to know that. What's the basic premise of the Cosmic Hulk story? The
Planet Hulk.
Hulk. Yeah.
Because Hulk loses control and he destroys a downtown area for once again, for the umpteenth time, and they finally get tired of it. So they have this the Star Chamber that was made up of Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, Professor X, Doctor Strange, like all the smartest Marvel characters. They were like sort of the Illuminati, and they formulated a plan to get him off the planet.
Okay.
And so they sent him out in this rocket ship, and it hit this black hole or something and got transported to this planet where they had these gladiatorial games, and he became part of that and became champion. And but he became more vulnerable, so he could be hurt a little bit. So it was more interesting that way when he was. And then he led a revolution like Spartacus, kind of.
Yeah, because he knocked some chick up on that planet and had a son.
Yeah.
Way to keep it in your pants, Bruce.
I drew that scene.
No, well, it wasn't saucy then.
No, it was a lot of insinuation.
There were some ankles to be seen.
Yeah.
That way.
Aaron, you should have called me for that panel. I could have made it nice and hot for you.
Yeah, that's right.
I
noticed that in your book.
Big giant green cock.
It's like Aaron's like, I've worked my whole career to this point.
Oh gosh, you guys.
What does a Hulk boner look like?
Oh, can you imagine? I'd rather not.
Green.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, so those are the list of the top Marvel ones. Obviously, Dan in the chat had mentioned Cosmic Odyssey. That's one of the first ones that comes to my mind.
Yes,
out of DC is the Cosmic Odyssey. And
but then there's the new gods. There's the new gods. And,
Kirby's new gods. How can we not even remember Kirby's new gods?
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Well, Cosmic Odyssey, that was where Wolverine, right, was in the jungle.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Other planet.
Yeah,
by Mike Mignola, right?
What about? Okay, how about this? Let me throw a little. I don't know if this is a wrench or not, but a curveball maybe. Simonson's X Factor with Apocalypse and where the angel got turned into the Archangel.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I don't know, because if I remember right, that was pretty much all based on Earth, wasn't it?
Well, no, he got wherever Apocalypse was Apocalypse was hanging out. That's where he made the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and then attack Earth. So he was off planet.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I classify that. I thought you were going to say something about like the Beta Ray Bill stuff, but we already said Thor falls into it.
Well,
But
Beta Ray Bill's an alien, so
The X-Men had those. What were those cosmic characters in that?
Shi'ar
Yeah,
in the Starjammers.
well, the Brood.
The Brood. Yeah.
You mean aliens? I mean Brood.
Well, yeah, yeah. And what's her face when she became Phoenix or whatever? That was sort of became a cosmic character, right?
Oh, totally. Well,
Jean Grey?
Yeah, Jean Grey.
because she blew up killed a whole planet. It takes place on the moon. That
fairly cosmic,
ultimate issue and stuff. So yeah, I'd say so.
I mean,
sure.
most of anything Kirby worked on, if it didn't start out as, eventually became cosmic. You know?
Well, let's put Superman in the cosmic scope, because you guys know the Superman stories better than I do even. So what would be the top Superman cosmic stories?
Well, there was one in the 80s I remember reading with I was getting it because of Kerry Gammel's artwork. Well, it was rotating because it went through multiple Superman books where it was Superman. It wasn't called Off-World. It was like Superman something space. And this is back, after he was depowered some. So he actually had to wear like the
mouth.
mask.
Yeah, I was working.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It was that unit. It was, what was that thing called? That there was that cosmic apparatus, right? That they used. It glowed green. What the hell was that thing called? Those stories went cosmic.
You're not talking about the Source Wall, are you?
No.
Well, didn't oh gosh darn it, what's his name? Who was he did the Shazam doggone it trade paperback or the graphic novel?
Jerry Ordway?
Jerry, yeah. Wasn't there a run in Superman where similar to Planet Hulk where Superman was off planet, he was a gladiator someplace and had a beard?
Yeah, that was it. It was Superman. Hold on.
Yeah, that was the first book I worked on Superman when he grew the beard. Yeah, and then there was he was my God, I'm looking up. There was maybe somebody in the chat.
Superman Exile was the name of
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was that thing called that they used?
Because he went to another planet. He was more gladiatorial in it. Ordway, I think, did a couple of those really cool issues.
Yep.
I can't remember if he was powered down on those planets, like if he didn't even have his powers or not.
He was powered down, but he still had powers because he was so far from the yellow sun. And
yeah.
You know what I always liked about the original concept of Superman was it people say, well, how could he be so muscular, if he's getting his power from the, he can't lift weights. He can't do a progressive overload to gain muscles. But the original idea for Superman was that he came from a race of Supermen, that they were enhanced. That is just their makeup. That's how they're leaping all the time and had great strength and all this before he came to Earth, and then the yellow sun gave him even more powers.
Oh,
yeah, because I did talk to some artists going, you shouldn't be drawing Superman big. He's just an average guy who has superpowers from this. But you're saying no, Graham. No, I'm not accepting that.
What was the character's name? Mongol or
Mongol.
Yeah, that was another Jim Starlin character.
Yeah, he's in that storyline. There's not a lot of stuff that I'm finding, but he sort of I got a low res of what Superman looked like if you want to see it. I think it's a Jerry Ordway drawing. Here it is, and he kind of looked like Hercules.
Yeah.
So here it is, Graham. If you
let's see, I got to remove something first now, right?
It won't let you from the show, and then you can put it up.
There we go. Okay, I see it now. That's another update. Thank you so much.
Yeah, there it is. That's cool.
So you can see it's definitely Gladiator, thumbs down, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like Caesar. Yeah. So this is a low res of Jerry, but came in.
That's Mongol in the first panel.
He
It's pretty
looks small.
thin. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
a thin dude.
that's Mongol. Yeah.
Must have been
So-
on a diet.
What was? I can't remember what the hell that thing was. I'm looking still. But yeah, that's the first I inked that at my parents' house. I had just lost my apartment, so
The
my
mother
mom-
box, is that it? The mother box?
no,
Somebody in
it
the
was
chat said the
No, I don't
Wolverine
think
says
Mother
the
Box was in that story.
no. It started with like a EX something. I can't believe no one in the chat is helping.
Well, here's one we completely forgot about. I mean,
Superman
what's
Exile.
more cosmic than Green Lantern?
Oh
Whoa.
yeah,
Yeah, the whole thing.
dude.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Guardians,
Guardians
Planet
of the
Four.
Galaxy. What and speaking, you asked what your favorite Superman cosmic story was. Mine is a little backup story where Neil Adams came up with the idea, and I think Elliot S. Magan wrote the script based on Neil's idea. And the story was about Tomar-Re is sent on like his last mission, and his last mission is to save this planet from destruction. So he goes to this planet to save the population and stuff, and things happen and things get screwed up, and he messes up and the planet explodes, and he has to go back in front of the Guardians of the Galaxy and explain his failure. And they said, they forgave him for the mistake and all that, because even unbeknownst to them, that the destruction of the planet gave birth to the greatest hero of the galaxy.
Oh,
It was Krypton, and the rocket ship is shown at the very end of the explosion, taken off in the distance.
so wait, that was a backup story in an issue of Green Lantern then?
No, it was a backup story in an issue of Action Comics, I believe.
Really?
It was either Action. No, it was either. I think it was a Superman comic. There's a backup story in.
Oh, that's freaking cool.
Oh, it's really awesome. It's Dick Dillon drew it with Dick Giordano inks.
That's nice.
Yeah.
You guys think back, like just even the last 20 years, any story that involved like the Justice League or anybody that wasn't cosmic related. I mean, it's almost like when you get a bunch of superheroes together, it's like any problem that's on the earth is just too small for them. It's like they have to go out and find bigger problems than what you might face on Earth. When I drew Justice League International, we started off cosmic problems and it never stopped. It was always these big cosmic storylines that Dan Jurgens was writing, and a lot of fun. We were always off planet on some weird world and some weird spaceship. And then I did the very last job I did for DC was a Justice League thing, and it was on another planet. This whole an alien race and different cosmic forces coming together. So it almost seems like it's become kind of rote for
right.
Justice
Hey,
League.
Graham, I found a page that I inked from that time, and I have it if you want to share it. I'm looking for the name of that damn thing. They're on War World. I don't know if that was made up for just this story.
Wait a second. Who's that over?
This is Dan Jurgens pencils. These are This is like the first Superman I ever inked.
I was going to say that doesn't have that same snap to it. But
Yeah,
there's not a lot going on the page either. So
old school. But whatever that thing, see that second panel? It was like the Eradicator or something. It was something like that.
Oh,
and
isn't that it? Isn't it the Eradicator? Isn't that it?
Is that what it's called? Yeah, the Eradicator. It became
the Eradicator in the chat.
hey, Billy,
Yeah.
is that the Eradicator? You would know.
Yeah, Billy should know.
Oh, you're muted.
Billy's not even here anymore. He left.
He's muted.
I didn't mean to press it. No, that's definitely Eradicator.
See, I knew Billy would know.
I mean, just to look at it, Billy. I mean,
You know why Billy was muted? He says he didn't mean it, but honestly, he's been muted because the whole time he's going, I can't believe I'm on a stream with these fucking nerds. Listen to this shit. I feel my testosterone just leaking from my body as I'm listening to these dorks talk.
I'm gonna geek out, and I'm gonna shock you all with my choice.
When we
don't
talk about
fool me one bit.
when we were all hitting the comic shop, he was in fabric school hitting on the chicks. So,
Yes.
I mean, he just mocks us. He just
I
mocks
didn't have to
us.
hit on the chicks. The chicks hit on me because there was so many of them, and there was so many gay guys.
Yeah, you were the only not gay guy
you had
there.
your
Maybe,
Uh-huh,
maybe
hairdo.
so. Maybe not.
Who knows?
Hey, you guys, what about Star Slayer, the Log of the Jolly Roger, where Rocketeer first appeared in a backup story?
Yes.
Oh, is that Mike Grill?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Mike Grell. Yeah.
He was like a pirate or something, right? Like cosmic.
He was described as like a barbarian that was then transferred into space.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
became a pirate.
I've got the first few issues of that. Right.
Yeah, so do I, in near-mint
he was
condition.
transported from his original time.
Yeah.
But would you say John Carter has got to be cosmic, right?
Is
Warlord
it
of
a
Mars.
comic
yeah.
book? Is it a comic book though? Are we talking comics? Are we talking Sunday strips? What are we talking about here?
Well,
Greg?
okay.
Because I don't
Sunday
understand
strips.
a book of
Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon.
Okay, well,
He's lost it.
who was the
lost
first
it.
one, Andy, that you said?
That's for parameters, for God's sake.
What's that?
What's the first one you said, Andy?
Oh, well, I said John Carter, but
John
before
Carter,
that,
okay.
it was
I'm going
Star
to say
Slayer.
no to John Carter because the stakes aren't high enough. It's only about Mars. Earth is never
Yeah.
threatened. He's just basically there in a revolution in space. However, Flash Gordon, you could say, because our world is at stake and the universe, because Ming the Merciless is trying to, he's going around, he's a dictator and he's controlling all these other worlds.
And there's multiple worlds in Flash Gordon too, aren't there?
Yeah.
Flash.
Yeah. So I would say Flash probably would qualify.
Kit Carter, Planet Doom. Come on. I mean, that's cosmic, right?
Cosmic, baby.
Yeah, I mean, you got that monkey in
What
there.
are the
That makes
stakes,
it
though,
cosmic.
Aaron? Are the stakes big enough to be cosmic?
Yes.
It's a cosmic Odyssey.
Yes. Well, I don't know if it's Cosmic Odyssey big, but you've got, Lord Menace is threatening the other planets in the universe. You've got the Guardian of the Eye of Amanon, who's this huge power source that it's throughout the whole galaxy. So yeah, it's huge.
It's
All
over
right.
Graham?
Yeah, and you got the lava monster that Aaron took from Graham.
Oh,
No,
right.
that's the other.
That he
No. I think you got that backwards, Andy.
Oh.
I'm confused.
It's my show. He got it right.
It's our show.
Because all I have to use is my green power ring, Aaron, and boop.
That's right.
Oh.
you guys are coming. You guys are talking my language here. I'm going that way with the green power ring. You wait and see.
Wait and see.
Okay.
Yeah, but see, I'm not even geek enough. I pointed with the wrong hand.
I know. I don't know what. Yeah, I'm not a Green Lantern guy. I really never was.
So when I drew the Green Lantern Annual, which was like the second or third job in my career, being a Green Lantern fan, I still just assumed it was on his ring finger. And I was like 30 pages in when Kevin Dooley was like, "Oh my God, you've been drawing the ring on the wrong finger this whole time.
It's his
Go
middle
back and
finger."
fix it."
And then he shamed you because you didn't know anything about comics. And
So he can say, "F you, Guardians."
That's right.
Little dwarves.
I was like, "Oh crap."
Yeah.
You melon heads.
If
Yeah,
DC
that's right.
ever gave me a shot at Green Lantern, I would write a police story, a procedural story, and have it take place with murder on a planet, with high stakes. And the Green Lanterns, or our Green Lantern, has to go there. Maybe he even brings Batman as the world's greatest detective and helps him, solve this crime, and then he enforces it, as a space cop. I think that
it would be neat to get into like the morality, like the cosmic morality versus like Earth morality or whatever. Like I would assume it would be different. So if there's I always think I don't know about comic books, but courtroom dramas are one of my favorites. I think they're great. And so to this day, there still really hasn't been the definitive Batman one. I have written one where Joker stands trial. Somebody told me they had already done something like it, but it could be neat to do like part of it is the detective aspects, and then bring him to justice, and then the actual trial of the villain.
I hate to do this to you, Art, but Chuck and I did that.
oh boy.
In Devil's Advocate, the graphic novel.
All right. When did you have the idea, though? Was it in the early 80s?
It was
You stole
was
Art's
in the
idea.
90s.
Man. Yeah, see, you stole.
There you go. There you go. I pitched it to DC. I even
Bros,
talked.
Robin Bros, man.
I even talked to Chuck about it. I'm completely lying. Yeah, Chuck and I were really tight back
Completely
then,
lying.
so I gave him the whole layout for the story.
You know, if I did
Yeah,
a
but
Green
we
Lantern
wrote, we co-plotted it together.
Sure.
He cut me out of the loop.
We sat in Central Park with the 3x5 cards and wrote the whole damn thing in an afternoon.
Was it a summer day? Was it nice weather?
It was a gorgeous day, Billy.
Oh, of course.
We had just
The breeze
eaten-
was
we had
blowing.
just eaten on the tab of DC,
Nice.
and then we went down to Central Park with our 3x5 cards, and that way we could move them around. You know, because you start with the crime, you know the ending, you know how it's got to get to it, and then you go backwards, and so you move things
Right.
around so that people can't tell what's going on, but you know,
You
and
know.
make it linear.
My favorite thing about my detective story was that Gordon and Batman had to keep the Joker alive to stand trial. So everybody in Gotham wanted the guy dead. You know what I mean? So those guys had to keep him alive because they believed in that form of justice. So I thought it would be interesting to put them in a juxtaposition where they could easily that guy could disappear, right? Like the Joker could just disappear, but they believe in the judicial system to that extent that they're, going to bring him on trial and they're going to keep him alive to stand trial. So anyway.
Yeah.
Billy,
That's
what do
could
you
have
got
been.
to say about all this, Billy?
Yeah,
I think
Billy.
it's too good and too simple of a story that they'll never do it. It's too good.
Well, they did Graham's idea.
But that's like 1967 when they did Graham.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
No,
before they
Graham.
had like real justice. Yeah.
Well, Billy, you've been teasing us all show long that you have something. So impress us with what you have.
Really? You want me to do that?
I do.
woo us.
Let's.
I wanna be-
Maybe I do a Reddit thing. Let me go. Let me.
Well,
give me a
Billy,
second to
the
find-
dude on the guy's back flying, that's not cosmic.
That's just
That's
gay.
way down. That's too
Yeah,
down.
hey, I never even thought of that. I worked on Quasar
I
for
know.
like a
Just
year.
saw that in
Nate
the
G.
chat.
Yeah, Quasar's totally cosmic. I don't
Wasn't
know
that
if he was ever on Earth.
Wasn't Quasar originally Marvel Boy?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And then they basically, Grunwald kind of turned him into Green Lantern because instead of a power ring, he had the nega bands that he could basically make anything out of.
Are those
With
the same
those.
bands that Rick Jones had?
He
Are
stole
those
them from
the
Rick.
nega-
No, they were different from Captain Marvel's,
Oh,
if I remember correctly.
But yeah.
Yeah, they were drawn differently too, I believe.
were they?
But no, he could form, solid things out of them just like Green Lantern could with his ring. So
Yeah,
People
Paul
are
Taylor,
talking-
you're absolutely right. It was Marvel Boy appeared in one of the first George Perez.
yeah, that's when they brought him back from the Golden Age.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
his first comeback was that. Yeah.
I liked George's run on the Fantastic Four. I thought it was pretty good.
I don't even.
I
I
like
was
Joe Sinnott's ink on
disappointed.
it.
I mean, I felt that Joe Sinnott kept it together.
Yeah.
And on point. But again, there was too many panels, too much little detail, which I didn't care for, especially coming off of Rich Buckler, who did all those great Kirby swipes.
And Buscema and Ditko and
And then
whatever.
he tried to murder Al Milgrom, right?
Oh my God.
Cosmic story, and here's something that's going to blow your minds. Lord Malvolio.
That sounds
That's Mark
Italian.
1988 to 1989. I love this story. I'm not shitting you. In this story, Lord Malvolio. So Hal comes across this Lord Malvolio of the Green Flame. So look at it here. He was born since in the 1600s. He murdered his father, who was a Green Lantern, and became.
Well, no. He was
Okay, Billy. This is how we know you're full of shit. 1634 is the space sector
The
that he.
sector. Not the year he was
No,
born.
he was born in 19. You look at it. He's born in the 1600s.
Where does it say that?
I guarantee he's born in the 1600s. Somebody, Marcus, look up his
Marcus.
Wikipedia. He was.
It
Oh,
says
that's Jake Paul, by the way.
1989.
Yes,
It's
he may be
19.
section 1634, but he was born over 300 years ago.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Now let me school you. Is it so? Lord Malvolio, it's this great story. Because I went in and then I pitched something after this, and Dan's like, nobody cares about that. And it involved Jenny Lynn Hayden, who's my favorite Green Lantern, who is the Starheart. She is the power of the ring. She's a living embodiment of the ring and doesn't need a ring.
Right. You said Jade, right?
Jade, yeah. But it all led to this because here's the thing is that so Hal battles Lord Malvolio. So swear Lord Malvolio of the Green Flame. Whose art is that?
Mark Wright.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's Mark Wright.
100%. Okay, I didn't know that. Beats the hell out of Hal, but Hal ends up beating him, defeating him. But not only this, he crushes Hal's ring. He destroys the ring that Amon Sir, is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Gave Hal Jordan. You know, the one on he died. So Hal thinks he kills Lord Malvolio at the end and takes Lord Malvolio's ring. So since 1989, Hal Jordan's ring is Lord Malvolio's ring.
Look
And
at Billy.
what is that?
Hey, I'm trying to see as you're scrolling through, and it's a serious question. Does this say anywhere what issue numbers this ran through? Because I don't
it's
see
Action
it.
Comics Weekly.
Oh, okay.
And Dan's like, no
why I've
one's
never
going to
seen it.
remember. No one's going to care that about that ring. I'm like, Dan, there's such great things about this ring that the ring has had since 1989 in DC lore is not the ring that he got from Amon Sor.
Yeah, but you know, if Jeff Johns came up with the idea, he would have done
Of course.
it.
Oh yeah, God, yeah. Of course. Somebody told me that if it was anybody but me, they would have went for it. But I just I love this story. We're talking cosmic, right, Graham Nolan?
No, that's cool. That's a new one.
So look.
Well, now the original Green Lantern, Alan Scott, he was not part of the Guardians of the of the universe. He had his thing was powered by the Green Flame. Is that the same Green Flame that
very
Alan Scott?
interesting, isn't it? Isn't it very interesting? Because he is the Lord of the Green Flame.
You know
Now,
what, Billy? You can sell anything.
I would like to point out to everybody here and everybody in the audience that Billy has now dropped names of very, very obscure characters that nobody freaking knows. But yet he doesn't read comics. Okay.
But how important is this? I don't read comics. Comics are for nerds. It would seem that the ring now that because then if you look, Hal's ring was destroyed on Oa during his days at Parallax. Gauntlet reassembled the pieces into a new ring. It would seem as if Kyle Rayner, who later received the ring from Gauntlet, is currently carrying Malvolio's
This is your
ring.
story. This is your story, Billy.
And he was dating Jenny Lynn Hayden.
She's hot.
Yes, dude, I would have drew her total fucking smoke show.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
I'm so glad he said
Alan
drew
Scott
her.
Water before he was gay and couldn't father sire children.
Didn't she have like a white? It was almost like a complete white.
Yes, bro. Form-fitting white.
Yeah.
Covering all the right places, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. You would have drawn the shit out of
I would have
that.
drawn the shit out of her. And Dan's like, yeah, nobody cares about that. And I have that she ends up getting pregnant in the story. And you think that she has a miscarriage, right? Whatever. But at the end, you see that Malvolio took her child.
Son of a bitch.
And he became Franklin Richards.
It's not Franklin Richards.
Oh.
Look at this. Marcus Killigrew is saying Billy is correct.
Marcus
RT Bear. How about that?
knows.
Hey, I wasn't doubting you. All these other.
Sorry, Mr. DC, Aaron Lopresti.
I'm not Mr. DC.
Yeah, he's not
This
Mr.
this
DC.
massive, cool guy, and look at this ring he's got. What a great possibility! Look at that.
I'll tell you this: there's nobody that's worked at DC as long as I have that knows as little about DC as I do.
Point of pride.
You can tell.
So that is my story. I'm sticking to it.
That's very
I
cool.
think that you should all commend me on my greatness once again.
Yeah,
And,
we commend you.
we
We
do.
commend you on your
Thank
greatness.
you. On my
We
great.
I'd
do.
like to commend you to a mental hospital.
Yeah.
Let me thank Scott Christie Jones for the £2 English pounds sterling. Let's
Yes.
talk about Hairman and Stan Lee. Okay.
Hairman.
We got the lovely Katie Did here. Hello,
Hey,
Katie.
Katie.
Well,
Who
hello.
says hello to all of us.
Who's Hairman?
I don't know. You were
Uh,
art, I
Oh, maybe
guess.
the guy's
Nomadodon.
doing the video on him.
Nomad
No,
Damon.
Nomadaman.
Damon.
Nomadaman. It looks like
Yes.
Nomad Damon.
No,
All right,
Nomadaman.
Nomadaman. $5. Hey, bros, what do you feel are the typical strengths and weaknesses of cosmic stories? Also, Billy, did you study the fabric of
Aaron.
of
Thanks a
space
lot.
time in school?
Thanks a lot, Aaron. Like I said, rayon is a very space age fabric.
It is indeed.
I think
Um,
sometimes you run the risk of losing your audience because sometimes these things get so big and out of control, and there's so many different names, different universes, all that stuff that it's like you need to write the stuff down to keep track of it. So
Well, and that's kind of what Marvel's been doing with X-Men stuff. Well, not of recently, but for a while there, it just got so convoluted because you just had to read everything because it was such a money grab. They're like, now you got to read this and you got to read this. And they put that checklist that's like 20 freaking books in there. Whereas like Secret Wars, when it first came out, 12 issues, didn't really have to read the monthly stuff. You got the whole story in those 12 issues and it wasn't that hard.
Well, how many times has DC had to redo their universe because of these huge cosmic storylines? that
Well,
got
look at Crisis on
confused?
Infinite Earths.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. Yeah.
yeah,
that
that's
was
a
also
more
12
headaches than
issues.
it's
But
made.
Divergence, more
You know.
recently.
Hey, can I show something?
Yeah, as soon as I do Mr. Paul Taylor for that $10 Canadian. Help Rose and chat. Gay Alan Scott, who had 2 kids named Obsidian and Jade in Infinity Inc. That's true. Inconvenient fact there. You are to be commended, Billy. Also,
you.
let's not forget that Alan Scott was the first married superhero.
Right.
Well, let's
He was
also
married
point
in the
out
Golden Age.
let's point out what Paul's really saying here. He's saying that Alan Scott was gay and yet had 2 kids, and then he commends Billy for being gay and having kids.
Two
So,
kids.
You're right.
Two
I read
kids.
that wrong.
I think that's what he's saying. I
Well,
think
the
that's what
cat's
he's
out of
saying.
the bag.
I
and
think
you know
that's-
what? Billy's kids, Obsidian and Jade.
Yep. This is what I would do when I would pitch to DC. If I could show you this real quick, if you could make me go big screen real quick.
Wait a minute, is this Billy's version of
No,
Jade?
I just want to, and I'll shut up for the rest of the show.
No, you
So
won't.
here is my Jay drawing. My buddy Mark Sparcio painted it.
Oh,
Here
wow.
is my notes on my story and everything. Look,
Oh my gosh, you really took it seriously.
I had a buddy of mine help me out with all this stuff, but all the characters that are involved, who they are, right? Look at this. I have timeline. Look.
now, wait, when did you actually pitch
Timeline,
this?
Family Tree, Jade, Alan Scott, Kyle Ritter, all this stuff. And they thought I was a psychopath.
When did you actually pitch this? How old is that?
Holy crap.
2008?
Well, where are all those images coming from? Did you draw those for this?
No. These a buddy of mine got me all this information that he put it together. We put it with
Wow.
every ring, everything to basically say, here's my story. Any questions you have, just look at it. Look, did we just mention Ganthet? What? Guardians? Manhunter? Are all these characters going to be in it?
You know, Aaron, maybe if you put that much work into a pitch when you were at DC, you would have got more stuff picked up.
Lunatic.
Now, wait a minute. Billy said that he did the drawing of the cover, but a buddy painted it. And he
Yes,
said
Art
that he
Garcia.
didn't draw all those rings. A buddy gathered it. Did you actually
buddy-
type
my
any
buddy-
of that? Did you
Yeah,
type
did you
that-
do
any of that?
anything, Billy?
Yeah.
I drew the pencil.
No, but did you
No,
type
the
the
proposal.
stuff
Did you
inside the
actually
book?
type-
Yes, I did. Yes, of course.
Okay.
This is a lot of history.
Or did you get
of
a buddy
the
to do
and the
that?
He
timeline.
goes, yes, of course Debbie typed it.
Look at this. Look at this. The history of the lanterns. 5 billion, 4 billion. Look at this.
Can't see it. It's
3.5
all
billion.
blurry.
These are all things that happened. Come on. Look at this. Jade, all about Jade.
Well,
Dude, your
the moral
camera
of-
is shot. It's
Hey.
it's all blurry.
Is it?
Yeah, your internet is
Oh, my internet's sorry.
Yeah, we should stop sharing.
Sorry. Get me off, please.
All right.
The moral of the story is don't put a bunch of work into something until you've actually got an okay.
100%. But I love the research. I love doing work. I love that.
I was actually going to say the same thing. I was going to say the moral of the story is write a 2-page pitch. If they turn it down, no problem. If they take it, then you do that Bible.
Yeah. Well, I did.
That's what I always did.
Yeah, it doesn't always work out that way, though. You know, that's a sad thing. It's like I remember when I was putting pitches like that together for like the Hollywood stuff, and then my agent was like, "Don't put all that effort. Don't do all that work." And I was like, "But this is creating the world. Like I feel like I have to do this because I need to make it real for myself so I could pitch it. If they ask me questions, then I'll know the answers, all that kind of stuff." And then he brings up Doug TenNapel. You know, Doug TenNapel pitched Cat Scratch at a lunch, and he drew on napkins. I'm like,
Hollywood, baby. Hollywood.
That's right.
What am I working so hard for? Yeah.
The easiest pitch I got accepted was just verbal, walking in a crowd. You know, I was at San Diego and I was going one way and Joey Cavalieri was going the other. And I said, I saw him and I'd been wanting to hook up with him at the show. And, you know, the crowd's pushing you one way, he's pushing. And I go, Joey, he says, I got a Superman story I want to pitch to you. And he's like, what's it about? I said, it's about Clark Kent trying to discover who he is before he becomes Superman. I want to talk. And then we met outside at the, one of those patio areas, and they gave him the full pitch. And
you pushed $100 into his palm.
That's right.
It sailed through. It was the easiest pitch I've ever had to do.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, and that was Superman the Odyssey.
When I did my Metamorpho thing, I kept trying to pitch Metamorpho to Dan, and he was like, no one cares about Metamorpho. And I go, I know, but I still want to do it. And then it finally came to a point where they felt like we need to do something, keep the copyright. And he's like, hey, Aaron, go ahead and do something with Metamorpho. I mean, that was so I just wrote a pitch, and so I didn't even have to pitch anything.
Nice. Hey, I did another cosmic thing. Mars Attacks the Image Universe.
I remember that.
That was you, Randy Smith?
That was Mars Attacks the Image Universe. That's cosmic.
Did you write that too?
Giffen did.
Was that part Tops and part Image, like combined?
Well, I mean, I didn't have to deal with anybody at Tops, but I'm assuming it was. So, but Keith Giffen wrote it. Bill Sienkiewicz did the finishes over me. So,
there's a couple other DC stuff. There's of course the Jack Kirby's Fourth World New God stories, Lobo, Portrait of a Bastage. And also, right. like there's the Legion of Superheroes.
Well, yeah, Legion of Superheroes, big time.
Yeah,
big time. Dave Cockrum.
It's funny how cosmic storylines completely took over comics, and aside from like I said, Daredevil and Spider-Man, everybody else was out in space most of the time.
Oh, is this that story?
This is that story.
The whole thing?
Let's see if it's the whole thing.
What story is this?
And more importantly, what issue number of Action is it? I wouldn't mind trying to hunt.
Oh, this okay.
Superman 257.
I wonder if I own that already.
This is your story, Graham?
No, it's the one I told you about.
Oh, this is Elliot Maggin's.
Elliot Maggin, based on a Neil Adams idea.
What a great drawing! Holy cow!
Who drew this?
Dick Dillon. Inked by Dick Giordano.
Now, because we like our tangents, did you guys ever see the backup story that Dick Dillon did? I think there are 2 of them in Superman that Neil Adams inked.
No.
Yeah, it was a Western.
In the backup of his Superman book?
Yep, it was a Western character that I think he somehow came over to present day or something. I bought it because Neil Adams inked it over Dick Dillon. Let me see if I can find it.
Action, like what years are we talking here? What era was this?
Oh, 70s.
Got it, man. How did I not know about that?
Look at
Hold on, I'll tell you.
Cool. You know, when he's talking to the Guardians, you know, they revive him, and he says, "But what of your intention to have the Kryptonian lead the Green Lantern Corps?" I guess that was part of the storyline. They wanted a Kryptonian to lead the Green Lantern Corps. He says, "When Kal-El reached Earth, we knew he would be physically superior to the Terrans, but strangely, the alien environment gave him superhuman powers, a totally unpredictable event. Genetically perfect and totally without fear, the last son of Krypton's greatest line, he truly strides like a titan among the stars. For when the universe creates a titan, it is because the universe has greater need of him than we do. Though we can occasionally guide him, this Superman's destiny is his own. You have done well.
That's how you write comics. That's how you write comics.
Yeah.
That is good shit, man.
That is fucking great. You have done well, Tomari, Green Lantern of Zudar. Retire at peace." Bang!
That's good stuff, man.
That is freaking amazing. I remember reading that as a kid thinking, God damn, the main story should be this good.
That's one page. That's just one page, you guys.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you want comics like that, these 5 guys right here, that's what we're giving you.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Superman 249 and
Wait a minute, I have that.
250.
I have that in near mint condition. I'm pretty sure 249. What?
Of course you do, Eric.
And 250. There's a backup by Dick Dillon and Neil Adams.
I know I've got one of those.
I always loved Dick Dillon. His Justice League stuff was so good.
Yeah.
It depends on who inked it, though.
Yeah, it depended on who inked it. But when Giordano inked him,
it was great.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Frank Chiaramonte,
Yeah,
I think.
Let me bring up this another cosmic just real quick. Remember the JLA Justice League crossovers? Earth 1, Earth 2?
Oh, yeah.
Those were cosmic.
Well, that was Justice League JSA, right? Is that
right.
true?
Yeah.
Chronomechanics. There you go.
That's Cosmos.
That's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, G-Dash, thank you for that $5 super chat. Can you all talk about who is in the driver's seat of a comic at the big 2, artist or writer? I don't know who's actually out there. I guess Scott Snyder can probably drive.
Scott Snyder, I would say, DC.
Yeah.
I can't
Are
really
they talking about in general? Like, are they talking about in general when you work on a title? Who's in charge, the artist or the writer? Or are they talking about
who's?
I thought they were talking about like who the big deal is right now.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I think you're right, Aaron. That might be what he's talking about. Well, it all depends, really. I mean, the way I've always looked at it is the writer writes his story, and then it becomes your story. You want to be true to what the flavor, what the writer is saying, but you're not bound by everything. Because your job is to make that visual now and make it better than it was in a written word. So, that's two totally different things, So, I guess he's in the driver's seat when he's typing it, and we're in the driver's seat when we're drawing.
Well, I guess it depends on when you were doing comics as well.
Yes, that's
when I broke into comics, it was an artist medium, like the penciler ruled supreme. So the writers knew that it was like a suggestion, like they were just kind of banging the stuff out, giving the artist what he needed, and then he would illustrate that stuff.
Right.
But after the 90s, after the image boom and all that stuff, I felt like the industry started shifting over instead of like penciler control to writer control. And so when I left DC 8 years ago, however long it was still very writer oriented. I did always like Dick. I still do.
Oh my God.
Hey, this is no judgment.
You know what? Wait, Glitch. You should have sent a super chat because I just gave you a doozy right there.
That's true. That's true.
They should have clip that and send it to me.
Most quotable quotes from Art to Bear.
I know. He just outdid you.
Well, I think I agree with Art because I think that the writers were really, and it hasn't really relented that much. The only time that I ever felt like I was in control, or at least 50-50 with a writer, was when I was working on Damage. And I think I mentioned this before, that they had the way that Dan had set that line of new superheroes up was that he wanted it to be kind of Marvel style. He wanted the artist to be more prominent in it for whatever reason. And so, me and Vendetti would meet. We'd talk about what, story-wise, kind of in general, what we were going to do. Then he would give me a plot based on stuff we talked about, and then I would draw whatever I wanted based on his plot. Then he'd go back in and dialogue it. And I actually got, in those Damage books, I got credit in front of the writer. And Roquefort, whatever he was doing.
Now, when you got the plot, was it a breakdown of every page, or was it just like here's a big long paragraph, you break the whole thing up?
No, it was by page, except when there was like fight scenes and stuff. And then he'd say like page 8 through 15 is Superman fighting Damage, but at the on the last scene he'd then describe how we got back into the, and then I could just do whatever I wanted for the fight scene, as long as I got him where the story needed to go. But there was no dialogue. It was just like,
it was plot style.
Yeah, just plot style. And then I could go in and kind of interpret it the way I wanted to. So I really felt like I had probably the most control I had ever had while working on a script from somebody else.
Well, wait, is that the only time you've ever worked plot style?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh wow.
I think so. Yeah, I remember I used to get scripts for Tachyon, and my editor told me, "Don't draw this."
Oh, I heard that
who wrote that?
You were in charge on Tachyon. I heard, that was an artist-driven thing on Tachyon. That you came up with everything, and then he would just dialogue it. That's not true, then?
No, are you messing with me, or are you being serious?
I'm messing with you.
No, yeah, okay, no, what? No, I don't take any responsibility. What happened was the scripts were not great, and so my editor told me at some point he goes, just kind of make it better. He was telling me, and I'm like, are you telling me not to go by the script? He goes, I'm not officially telling you that, but I'm telling you that. And so I would go in and he would do these scripts, and he'd get the pages back. And I guess he was pissed or whatever, because he's like, what is he doing? And I was like, I was doing what I was told. I made it better. I made it more interesting.
And your editor's like, I don't know what he's, I don't know.
But then I got blamed, as soon as that book tanked. But anyway.
Who was the editor on that book?
Oh, God. He wasn't a DC terribly. Was it Dan
Raspler?
Was it Raspler?
Was it Raspler?
No, it wasn't Raspler. No, it wasn't Raspler. It was Raspler would never have given me that kind of control. I worked with him before. I'd have to go look at the book actually to remember.
Because the writer was Paul Kupperberg, right?
Yeah, it was Kupperberg.
Yeah. But he wasn't on staff anymore and he was writing that? Or?
Oh, he was on staff. And that's why I was afraid. I was like, dude, you're gonna get me in trouble to this editor. And he's like,
yeah, you're like, dude, he's an editor at DC where I want to continue working.
Yeah, and I got blacklisted right after this too. So maybe it wasn't the best idea I ever had, or it wasn't my idea, but I did what he asked.
Right.
I worked with Paul on Doom Patrol.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah, we closed out the Doom Patrol before the Richard case, and who wrote it afterwards?
Was it Grant Morrison?
Grant Morrison, yeah.
Who inked you on that stuff? Because you didn't ink yourself, did you?
No, it was I want to say Tim Dazan.
Oh,
but I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure it was him though.
I didn't even know you did some Doom Patrol stuff. How many issues did you end up doing?
3, I think, 3 or 4.
Oh, well, that's cool.
It'd be the last 3 or last 4 of the series before they rebooted it. It was fun.
Headless Bourgeoisie. It was Dan Thorsland was the editor.
Oh, Thorsland.
Oh, look at that.
Graham Nolan Bleeding Cool article pop. Oh, okay. We all know what that's about. Jesus.
What, you ripping on Bane?
Yeah, probably.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah, that's what the guy said. He said it just came up.
Wow.
Now I need to go look real fast.
Let's go check.
All right, so who's checking? Oh, it looks like Graham is. Okay, I don't have to. Wow, that's
Billy,
pretty funny.
Billy, was there any of this kind of drama in Fabric School?
Yeah, there it goes.
Oh, what's the title?
Graham, here I'll
Share it.
It was just just like whether you loved Dick or you didn't.
Yeah, that's all.
It was, a little bit.
I was going to say the drama was about zipper placement, but that's where he went.
And some of us
Wow, look
loved
at that.
Dick. Graham Nolan comes out against Absolute Bane in Absolute Batman.
What's that in? Is that Bleeding Cool or Bleeding
Bleeding Cool? Yeah.
Ooh,
So is it Rich Johnson that wrote it?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
He had commented on the thread, so I figured this was coming. Comic book artist Graham Nolan posts regarding the appearance of the new version of Bane appearing in upcoming issues. That was redesigned by Nick Dragotta with Scott Snyder for DC Comics, and Graham is not happy. He writes, as the designer co-creator of Bane, this is a terrible abomination. When asked, is it the head? He replied, we can start there.
Oh,
When asked if there was room for other interpretation of the character, he replied, of course, many have and done excellent interpretations. This is not one of them. He also doesn't like the Dark Knight Rises version, but does approve of versions portrayed in Batman the Animated Series, Young Justice, Arkham Asylum, and others. Bleeding Cool agrees this version of Bane is a terrible abomination. He's not green. He doesn't have those sticky. He's making a joke about the abomination and Hulk.
Mhm.
right.
Okay. Oh,
But yeah, it's so clever. But as for Absolute Bane, my only worry was that I can't see how he can shoot those guns with fingers like that. Maybe something else is going on, and it's a number of kids standing on each other's shoulders inside a Bane suit. All right, more comedy. And that's it.
More attempted comedy.
Yeah,
I like what Aaron said in the green room. He said, Graham, is it because he doesn't really have a lower jaw?
Yeah, someone forgot to draw the jaw.
Somebody forgot to draw the jaw.
yeah,
yeah. Close that.
Yeah. There we go. But I mean, look at that. Look at the head, the mouth. I mean, what the heck is all of this? The traps here, and then you've got the sternocleidomastoideus coming down here, but then you've got like this hole.
Yeah,
as if he had surgery or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's
that's what I thought too. I was
fuck
like,
is that?
why is he cut open?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you guys. Stylistic interpretation.
I'm telling you,
It's
that
very
I think these
stylized.
books are
I
really
like the color.
insane.
I think the colors are kind of cool. It's just, it just as a drawing with these stylizations, because all the other, what's this called? Ultimate, what's it called? Not
Absolute.
Absolute. All these other Absolute ones have these little pinhead characters, and maybe that's the style they're going for. But
Because
I find
Batman
it
has a
ugly and
pinhead
I
too.
don't like it. But the funny thing is, the shit I'm catching from these people, oh, it must be terrible to be old and bitter. You know, it's like, dude, I may be old, but I'm not bitter.
Oh,
I mean, people coming out just going after me hard on this thing. It's terrible. It's funny actually, you know, because like, who the fuck are you? This one guy's like, what do you think you own Bane or something like that?
Oh,
and I'm like, well, I did design him.
That's right.
The thing is, none of it even matters
old.
because it's just an opinion. It's an opinion. You have an opinion on a character you created. I mean, that's all. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. Move on.
Well,
you know,
here's the thing. I only wrote it because everybody kept asking me, what do you think? What do you think about it? So I did a post on it. And now, how dare you slag another professional artist, you know? Well, you know what? Professional artists are getting slagged on every day. If you went through a portfolio review by editors and other artists, you got beat up, and you got to have tough skin. So, you know what? That's my opinion on it. If the artist who did it is hurt, I'm sorry he's hurt. I didn't mean it as such, but them's the break sometimes. You know, you just got to take the criticism, you know, and it's not like I criticize artists all the time, but this is my character. So I think I have a right to say something about it, you know?
and it's also, it's not personal. It's not personal. You didn't call the guy like a moron or anything. It was like the character and the character design.
Yeah.
So that's another thing people got to get over. It's like, it's the drawing, it's the creation. It's not you as a person,
right?
You know, so remove yourself from that. That's the first thing any new artist should.
But I also think seriously, in a drawing like that, an editor could step in and be like, okay, you know, your absolute Batman work is definitely exaggerated and stuff. We get it. That's one thing we like about it. That's why we hired you, blah, blah, blah. This might be a little too far. Let's just take it into Photoshop. Let's blow that head up a little bit, enlarge it some, see how it looks. And let's just have a little back and forth with it. Because that's what an editor's job is, you know, but with this, it's just like, well, that's what you turned in. Okie dokie, you know, and because that's the problem. It's like, yeah, that guy's stuff is very stylized. There's nothing wrong with that. I like stylized comics, or art. I like realistic art, but at some point you can get so stylized, it just looks fucked up. And that's when you got to rein them in. And that's what an editor's job is to rein stuff in.
Here's the other aspect of stylization. If you have such a strong stylistic look, like this almost abstract, you know, you're in a storytelling medium. So the world you're creating, this abstract world, has to be cohesive.
Right.
So if you draw Bane with this gigantic body and a tiny head, everybody has to have a tiny head. Right. If he's got giant hands like he does there, he's got to have a gun that fits that hand. So then the gun has to be massive.
Yeah.
It can't be this tiny thing. It's like when Kirby would draw stuff, you know, the thing would answer a phone and that phone had to weigh 150 pounds. You know, it's this gigantic thing, but all his stuff was powerful and large that way. There's a consistency in the universe. And when you don't have that is when all these inconsistencies jump out at you. And that's when there's a problem.
Right.
Yeah, guys like
Joe Mad is, hold on, using Bane as the example again. And I mean, obviously, Graham, you know this better than me, but as far as I remember, Bane doesn't always walk around wearing that getup, right? He can wear like a trench coat or
Yeah,
right. So that's the point. It's kind of like when somebody draws Superman really, you know, cartoony or jacked out, but then they draw Clark Kent and it's just a really smaller person because they're drawing Clark. And it's like, well, that's not really how it works. You should try and do it so it works both with the same type of figure. You know, like Frank Quietly, when he did All-Star Superman, one of the things I loved in the back of the book, in the sketchbook section, was he showed how he drew Superman, great posture, chest out, and he took the same proportions in anatomy and drew the hunched over, you know, head down Clark Kent. And it was just like, oh, that is just so cool.
And it really looked like a different character, like two different characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty convincing. And then the hair was just kind of disheveled as Clark.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever see that story? I think it was from like the early 80s, maybe late 70s, where they did a story to explain why people don't recognize him as Clark Kent, where he's wearing just glasses. Like, you know, like you all of a sudden still know it's me, right? You know,
right. No, you're Graham.
So yeah, where'd I go? So in this story, they showed you what people see when they see Clark Kent, because evidently Superman, without him even knowing it, is using like his super hypnotism when he's talking to people and looking in their eyes, you know. So like, you know, you'll see this nice drawing of Clark Kent, and then they'll show you what that person is seeing. And you see this like kind of receding hairline, nebbishy looking dude. It's like,
no way. I never saw that.
Later. Yeah. It's really, really lame.
I remember
that explanation I always thought was for like Superman was just like, why would you think that Superman would have another identity? Like, why wouldn't he always just be Superman? Right. You know, so I always thought that
got on and said, you know, this is, you know, I live among you because I have a secret identity. Who would know that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No one.
Didn't someone write that he was in a constant state of motion?
Byrne.
So a real
John Byrne, I believe.
Was it
Byrne?
Yeah.
I think when Byrne rebooted it. Yeah.
That's geek nerd stuff. I wouldn't know about it.
But that's no different than his super hypnotism either. You know, that he's got to be constantly vibrating, you know. What happened when he changed Barry White's hand, you know?
Yeah. I always thought that there was it always played to that idea that, you know, people see what they want to see. Right. You know, and there's like you said, why in the world would Clark Kent be Superman?
Right.
You know, so it's more about what people are bringing to the table than it is how he actually looks, we know he's Superman, so it's obvious. Oh, he looks just like Clark Kent, looks just like Superman. How can these people not tell? But why would you make that connection? You know,
Yeah, you wouldn't, because they're so far removed from each other. And then
Right.
also, like I said, why would you even think Superman would be anything other than Superman?
right.
Right.
Lois would figure it out because was close to both. You know,
Well, I had a conversation with Mike Garland,
didn't she?
and Mike said Lois has to figure out that Clark Kent is Superman at some point. Otherwise, it makes her look like a bad reporter. You know what I mean? Like at some point, she has to go, I think this guy is.
Well, you know,
Lois is like,
you know what you could
your
have done?
penis has the same birthmark as Superman's does.
Oh.
No, what you could have done, and I don't know if they ever did this because I never really read that much Superman, but it seems to me that I would have played it just like, oh, she's known the whole time, but she didn't give it away.
I like
Right.
that idea. Yeah. Yeah.
She didn't give it up, you might say.
Well, she gave it up
She
eventually.
did, didn't
Oh, come on. Clean show.
Yeah.
she? I mean, how many times has she given it up?
That's
Now-
right.
Billy, when you were in school, did you ever get an assignment where you had to like make superhero clothes or something? And it was like you guys talked about.
No, we actually did do a drawing one time, and it was to have like a fashion model with superheroes.
Oh, really?
It's fucking dumb.
That brings the girls over late at night,
I
doesn't
did
it?
Batman with him, and everyone, people are asking. I'm like, I don't know anything about comics, guys.
Yeah. What did you say the cosmic material was, Billy?
Rayon.
Rayon.
Rayon. Yeah.
Billy, if you'd have gone to fabric school like 20 years later than you did, you really could have had a career, because you could have been making costumes for all these cosplayers.
I could
That's
have been cosplay couture to the stars.
That's
Exactly.
right. That's right. All these hot girls would be coming to you.
Yep.
Billy, I want to go as Thong Girl.
Yeah,
And, could you use your rayon? And
Well,
I just remember, like,
Space
like, when she first came out, I was single, and there was no girls, and she's like the hottest book in comics, and it's like guys like us, and now there's these women everywhere.
No, dude, there was no hot chicks in comics back then.
No,
when we
there
were breaking
wasn't.
in.
Just Wendy Penny.
Yeah. Then
And
they started coming in after the Image guys, and then it became.
That's right.
They really, but they still
no, they were
started
coming
around
in the
2000.
late 80s. Yeah, they're starting to come in with boyfriends, and then then they started coming in because of the cosplay. But
The cosplay really took.
Yeah,
it
that's
took off.
changed
And
everything.
the movies. Once the Spider-Man came out and the X-Men films came out, that's when they started to. But then we were all like kids by then.
that's right.
Nobody
Well, all
cared
these
about it.
models
People
now
in
dress
their
up and go to
20s.
shows thinking they're going to be discovered. I don't know.
that's exactly right. They have their headshots all ready to go in case
Yeah,
they come
I don't
across
know who they
somebody.
think is going to discover them, but
Neil
except
Gaiman.
for other nerdy guys like
Oh,
us.
Neil Gaiman.
Too soon, Andy. Too soon.
Too soon, Andy.
Get in the tub. Get in the tub.
Get in the tub. Oh,
Warren Ellis, Neil Gaiman. Let's see who else could discover him.
well, poor Warren
Eddie
Ellis.
Berganza.
That can't do anything.
Eddie. Oh, you beat me to it, Eddie Berganza.
Eddie.
And for the dudes, that guy at Dark Horse.
Oh, Scott Alley.
Yeah.
Oh no, did he? Oh God, I think he was my editor. I think.
That's the weirdest thing. I knew Scott Alley for years. I worked with him and stuff, and we never acted odd or strange in any way. And then I read
You're
those
not his
stories.
type.
Well, I was never at a party though either.
Yeah.
So.
And you don't
Aaron's,
drink.
Aaron's offended now. He's like, wait a second. He never came on to me once.
Yeah, what the heck?
I was Leaf.
We were in the elevator stuck for like
Well, you were invited to parties, Aaron.
bed.
Aaron, you were invited to parties when Shelly came with you. That's when you got invited. to parties.
You're right. That's exactly when I started getting.
I know.
Hey, Shelly, you want to bring Aaron? You can bring Aaron, I guess, if you want. Do you want to come to the party?
Now you know why Scott never hit on you.
Yeah. Sons of bitches.
Sons of
Oh,
bitches.
man. Well, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. We're at an
All
hour and
right.
a half right now. I want to thank my bros for
You know it.
this
Great
was an
show.
amazing show. I want to thank everybody in the chat, and for those of you that gave the super chats. One of the format changes that we're going to be doing is just letting you know at the end of the shows that that rather than doing all these pitches, that all of the campaigns, because we all have live campaigns, the links are in the description of the show, and also they're in the chat that the mods have been putting in there. So if you haven't done so already, please check out those links and support one or all of us. It'd be great. That's how we are able to do these shows and stuff, because that's where we make money. We don't make any money on these shows. we're not like FNT or Ethan or somebody like that.
Yeah, it helps. Every little helps, keeps the lights on. And when you guys back those books, make sure you back it this way: black and white first, and then the other.
Sure, just go sign up for mine. That's all.
Support can
right.
be.
Yeah, Andy's isn't live. It's a sign up sheet though, but get in there and get signed up so that you'll be first to know about everything that's happening with his campaign.
Are they going to get any special things for signing up, Andy?
Front of the line shipping, and once we launch the campaign, we're going to launch it where everybody's going to get something right out of the gate.
So that's your motivation, you guys. It doesn't cost you anything. Go sign up.
That's
and
right.
Launching, Andy?
Something you might get.
It'll be a couple. It'll be probably 6 to 8 weeks, so month and a half, 2 months.
Okay.
So hey, we got one last super chat before we head out the door from Drew G. $5. Hey guys, can't wait to see Andy again and Billy for the first time at South Carolina Comic Con. Wish you all were all there. What's the protocol on getting comics signed?
Pretty please helps.
Yeah.
Just come by the table and see what you got.
Yeah, come on by, say hello. Yeah, I don't charge for signatures. I just ask if you can make a small donation to the American Legion.
Yeah.
All right.
That pays for Billy's community service awards that he wins every other week.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, one of the other changes in the show format is that the host showcases their campaign, but we ran over today, so I'm not going to go into it. I'm just going to show my video as our outro, and we will see you next week on Aaron's channel.
We start over, Aaron.
Okay, I better get myself prepared.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Aaron and I'll see you tomorrow on the landing party. Until then, have a great night.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.